All on mute. So
There you go.
Yo,
Start off on the mute, bro.
start off on the mute, bro.
Everybody started off on the mute. All right, let's try this again. Welcome into another edition of the Second Half Draft Show. I'm your host, Juice, joined by Headley and Drew, and we have another trio of college football teams here to go over during our summer scouting. That's when we do our preliminary scouting reports on a number of different 2025, in this case, NFL draft prospects. So we'll keep that going this evening. And on tap, we have the Iowa Hawkeyes, North Carolina Tar Heels, and Clemson Tigers. All right. Headley has limited battery, so we're going to jump right into it. Let's not hesitate. Let's jump right into it. Let's start with the Hawkeyes. Let's start in the Big Ten here, and then we'll get to the pair of ACC teams. And Headley, take it away.
Iowa, man. Well, first off, the offense was anemic. Let's just start there, man. You know, they don't have.
Bro, that's an understatement, bro. That's an understatement, bro.
I'm watching tape, bro, and I'm like 35-0, 28-0. There's a lot of zeros on the offensive side of the football, bro. And quarterback play is not good. The receivers. Iowa is tight ends and offensive line on offense. That's what they produce. They're kind of like tight end U right now. So let's just start off with the offense. Let's go to Luke Lakey. What's it? Luke Lachey, the tight end from Iowa. Lachey. Yeah, Luke Lachey. You know what these guys have done. Noah Fant, TJ Hawkinson, my guy George Kittle, and then most recently Sam Laporta. So this is kind of tight end U right here. They also had your boy drafted last season, Eric All. I think he went to Cincinnati, right? To the Bengals in the draft. Mm-hmm. And to me, he was more of the pass catching tight end. Not to say Lackey's not a pass catching tight end, but he's more in line. He could block as well as run routes and catch passes. And like I said, they pump out tight ends. This guy's 6'6", 253. He also has the bloodlines. His dad was a former All-Pro, former first-round pick as an offensive tackle. So he has that going as well. And last season was cut short. He only played 3 games, had a season injury, so we didn't see much of him. I watched both games he played in last season, and he's a guy that they line up in many different alignments on the field. Sometimes you see him in line, you see him off tackle, you see him line up as a slot, as a pseudo wide receiver on the slot also. And he has really good hands with physicality after the catch. I saw them; they ran a lot of little tight end screens with him. They just wanted to get the ball in his hands and have him running. That was kind of their offense. It was either the run game or Luke Lakey. Lachey. Is it Lachey, Drew? It's Lachey, right? I keep calling him Lakey. Luke Lachey, man. That's kind of the offense there for Iowa. And he just like I said, he's a dual threat, man. He's effective as blocking and as receiving. To me, he's more of the blocking type. I think as a receiver, he has some ways to go as far as like separation. Running routes. I guess in zone, he's pretty good, but against man, he's not a big time separator. He's kind of lumbering down the field. And I saw some passes go off his hands. It wasn't accurate passes. Like I said, the quarterback play, they got McNamara over there from Michigan, the old Michigan quarterback. But it wasn't accurate passes. So, but elite tight ends, they make those catches. It's not always on point, but, you got to go above your body and catch some passes. Some of them went off his hands. But he is able to locate the football. He can get to the highest point. He's comfortable with bodies around him. And like I said, against zone, that's where he shines the most, man. Against man at the next level, I would just have to see it some more. He's not really playing super athletic guys there at the Big Ten week in and week out. So at the next level, I just worry about him, how he's going to separate at the next level. And maybe he'll be one of those tight end twos at the next level that could block and come in and catch some occasional passes. So that's what I have there on the big tight end from Iowa. Mute.
My bad. Yeah, I'm on mute. My bad. I got here listed at 6'6", 245. I thought he had some wiggle. I didn't, in terms of his route running and being able to create a little bit of separation. I do got concerns, like you said, in terms of him consistently separating. He's not one of those stiff hipped guys. The hips aren't Shakira, but they're not a 2x4 either. If you get my drift, right? Has the ability to shield off defenders. Obviously 6'6", 245. You should be able to do that in the pass game. He can play on the boundary, in the slot, in line, to kind of use them all over the place, as Headley has said. I thought he understood, how to run his routes and where to be properly. You saw this routinely in zone coverage, but in terms of the depth, the timing, and the speed of how he needed to run his routes versus other routes that were being ran, on the same side as his, to create that separation on those combo routes or those crossing routes. I thought he was kind of, I don't want to call him a genius, but he understood what he needed to do within his route, right, to create that separation, because, whoa, the offense was terrible, right? I thought he got his head around quickly. Seemed like he was the guy for them. And he played some basketball. He was a hooper in high school. So in terms of his athletic ability, I think he's got a little bit there. But I mean, listen, I know Iowa is a school for tight ends, but damn, bro, it's hard to watch them, bro. It's like watching paint dry, and I don't know that I would ever go there, bro. Like, if I didn't grow up in that area, that state, or anywhere near that state, I don't know that I go there, bro. I don't think I could do it, bro.
Not even if you're a tight end and see the tight ends they produce.
Nah, he going.
Not even.
He going, bro. If that's your only D1 offer and it's a full ride, bro, you going, bro. Yeah. You're going, bro. But I understand where you're coming from.
Anywhere else with excitement, bro? Like, bro, I thought McNamara, I thought he was gonna not turn it around, but it wasn't gonna be what it was the year before, which was they was losing games like 9-0 and stuff, bro. Like, but now we doing losing 35-0 and 28-0. So I don't know what's worse, bro. At least when you get blown out, I can leave. I can turn the channel. When it's 9-0, you give me a little bit of hope because that defense was, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah.
Yeah. And then we got the offensive line. Like I said, they produce tight ends and offensive line. I think the two guys to watch there is Connor Colby, number 77, and the right guard, and then Logan Jones, 65, the center. I watched both of these guys, and I think Colby is probably the better prospect. He has a lot of starts under his belt, a lot of experience, has versatility along the line, played some tackle also. They moved him into right guard last season. He also has good size and length. He's 6'6", 311. I think in a power scheme, I think that's where he kind of will fit at the next level. He has the ability to pull on those counter plays, those slow developing plays, and seal off defenders, opening up the running lanes for the running back. And I think all of these guys from Iowa, from a technical standpoint, I think they're coached the right way. He has good hand placement and base, but he lunges. That lunging shows up occasionally for Connor Colby. But he's a good drive blocker. He's always turning his feet, real physical, and he's very aware of what's going on with twists and games up front. And right now, I have him as a better run blocker. I think pass blocking needs some improvement. The technique, I think those quicker, twitchier guys can give him problems. They have good hand counters. He gets beat a lot with quickness. And in the NFL, those guys are better than what he saw there at the Big Ten. So I don't have him as one of these, Iowa guys in the past. It's like first round, second round type of guys. To me, he's more day 3-ish guy. Maybe he can move up into day 2 because I just think his foot quickness right now is lacking. I saw him get beat across his face a lot, numerous times, the tape that I watched. So I think he needs to improve that. But he is, to me, the best offensive lineman there, him and Logan Jones. Jones is a center, and it's pretty copy and paste for me with them two. There are a lot of similarities between those two guys. The technique is there, but they're just not quick. They're just not athletic. They just can't get the certain plays that, an NFL caliber guy will get to. So let's see if they improve upon that in this 2024 season.
So what I got for Connor Colby, you kind of hit on some of the things that I was going to say. I think his biggest issue, though, for me is that he's overly aggressive, and I think that gets him into trouble. And that's when the technique kind of goes out the window. He's trying to pancake guys, trying to lay guys out versus, just getting your hands on them and then applying the aggression versus going for the aggression first, and you don't even have your hands on the guy or your hands misplaced because you're doing a little too much. has that nasty mindset that you want from the position. Like you said, can pull and clear out. He's always a guy looking for work. In his pass pro, he's not. He's two different players. In the run game, he's looking to put you into the ground and take you to hell, right? In pass pro, it's patty cake. And listen, I have no problem with guys who play patty cake. It's just it's like you're on two ends of the spectrum when it comes to the two different versions of what you're looking for or what you see in terms of run versus pass. And so he'll kind of mirror guys and kind of get his hands up and try to keep guys at bay. But Headley's correct in terms of I got quick interior guys will give him trouble because he's looking to lay the load. In terms of the run game and then like you said in terms of that pass game, guys are going to be able to beat him inside. He's got to work. He's got to be able to keep that from happening. And I think he's not too far off, right? So you look at that and you say, okay, this should be the year. That's one of those things you're going to be looking for from him in terms of being able to handle those hand counters so he doesn't get beat inside or get beat across his face, right? So I would agree with you there. He doesn't got too far to go, but he's not quite where we were familiar with the Iowa offensive line. Right? He's a little further away from those guys than normal. In terms of Logan Jones, he's normally the first guy out and about to the second level, out on screens. A guy who I thought he was a good mover, can move laterally up the field. I liked him in pass pro. Able to get back and get his hands up and get his anchor down, ready to go. The one thing, the issue I think that I had with him is that he does take on a lot, and he does get pushed around a little too much in terms of almost back into the quarterback's lap. Like he can take it, but he's I don't know that he's able to drop the anchor fast enough to be able to stop him from being driven back. A lot of times he kind of had to turn and seal the guy away. And that usually, at some point would have the quarterback move off his spot to kind of change the trajectory of where the quarterback wanted to go with the football or just had to take off or just not throw it at all. So I thought his best fit was probably in his zone scheme due to his ability to move. But, so I see them a little bit different than you, Headley, but yeah, it wasn't as pretty and as sexy as we remember the Iowa offensive line being in past years.
I agree with that.
So you mean to tell me the offense got worse? This is what you're telling me?
It did, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. They might have to take defenders and play them on offense, right? Because I don't see guys getting no separation. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's been their biggest problem. It's bad enough that offensive guys don't want to go play for Iowa, but you might have to take some defensive guys and say, we got to make that change, man. Like we need some firepower over here, man. And all they need is one or two guys, man. We're not asking. I mean, damn.
Speed, need some speed, man. You might have to go with some of those undersized, players on the perimeter in order to get some additional speed on that roster because, just watching Iowa, you know what I mean, playing against other teams in the Big Ten, everybody's sitting on everything. Nobody's frightened. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's taking the bubble the distance. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, you might have to. You might have to go for a different archetype. Of course, we know what they want to do along the offensive line. And, of course, their tight ends generally are an extension of their offensive line, and they have the ability to make plays in the passing game. Okay, well, then that's fine, right? We're inside out with it, but you got to have some speed. You got to be able to create some angles, some leverage offensively in order to create some explosive plays. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So, and from a ball carrier perspective, you know what I'm saying? They usually had a guy. He may not necessarily have been, a player that we would expect to have a stellar NFL career. You know what I'm saying? He's more of a replacement level player at the next level, but he was a quality ball carrier. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't know if they've been able to make that happen consistently as of late. So unfortunate there for Iowa. Who else you got?
You got anybody else on the offensive side, Drew?
Nah, bro. Come on.
All right, let's get to the defense, bro. Like, like these defensive players that I looked at, they're all good football players, man. Let's start off at the top. Xavier, is the N silent? Is it Nwangpa or Nwangpa?
I think it's Nwangpa.
Nwangpa. Xavier Nwangpa, the safety from Iowa. This guy is a former 5-star athlete, really good size. He got from as far as size, athleticism standpoint. I think he's going to go to the combine, be a combine winner. I think he's super athletic, super fast. Like they'll start him off in like a 2-man shell. Sometimes he'll come down and he'll come with bad intentions, deliver a big hit on the running back. I like when they kind of put him closer to the box, closer to the action. That's where I kind of like him the most. But they play him up high a lot also. But I like him closer to the box. He's very fluid in zone coverage. Changes directions really well before attacking. You know, he sees it, he deciphers it, and then he'll attack and come downhill pretty fast. He could cover from the slot. I saw him cover in the slot, turn his hips, turn his head to the ball also. So, you know, he could kind of do it all. You know, we talk about safety's a new versatility. Versatility is new safety. Whichever way you want to put it, man. I think Xavier Nwangpa has that, man. And also, all of these guys that I'm going to speak about, they play with a very physical mindset. You know, he might be the least physical out of the other guys I'm going to mention, the linebacker and the other safety, Sebastian Castro, but it kind of exudes through the whole team, man. And he comes down with bad intentions, like I said. And I like his timing. He has really good timing, to stay back or to attack, click and close, and come downhill, man. I think he's very instinctive football player. I think the areas of improvement for him, I think he can fill out his frame a little more. I think he gets stronger. Like I said, he'll come up and hit with bad intentions, but because of that physical mindset. But I think he still needs to add a little strength to his frame and needs more seasoning also. This play designs, you know, in pass game, I think that could improve. But I think this guy is going to be probably the first player drafted for Iowa, just because of the skill set, the size, the speed, the tools, all of that, man. He has it, man. So to me, right now, I probably have him as a top 5 safety in this class. I wouldn't put him top 3, but I'll put him in the top 5 for right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with most of what you said. Yeah, so you said he was a 5-star recruit, right? And so I was looking at all 3 of these safeties, and you kind of can understand how, not understand, but they were used like just kind of all over the place, right? There was one in particular where you kind of understood, okay, this is his role, but Xavier Nwangpa, a lot of the time I saw him as the free safety to kind of slid him over to the free safety, but then at times in other games he's playing the strong safety role, playing the nickel role, coming down in the box, playing in the lanes, taking away throws. I thought he was best when he was coming downhill. He's coming downhill, like you said, with bad intentions. And I got here, my first note with him is he's the most athletic of the 3 safeties. Like you could just see
far.
it. By far, the range that he has on the back end, they'll have them guys run up and then run back right at the snap, trying to confuse and make a play. And he's the guy that's getting back the quickest. He's also the guy that's coming down, downhill the quickest as well. There's times where he's on the opposite side as the safety, and he's coming and he's beating the safety that's already on that side to the football, right? When he sees it, he goes and gets it. He has good instincts, both on the back end and, coming downhill. You probably see the instincts a little bit quicker, the closer he is to the football. And he plays with a little bit of recklessness in terms of how he treats his body. So, I like him to clean that up, like Haley was saying, in terms of filling out the frame. That's actually a plus when you hear about a player who, he's got more room to fill out the frame, and they're doing the stuff that they're already doing. That's a plus. You're saying, okay, he's probably not going to lose any speed, probably not going to lose any athleticism. Gets a couple more pounds, gets a little bit stronger, and he's going to become a better player, right? So I think that's what you have in Xavier Nwangpa. I'm gonna jump over to the other safety. I think he's numbered. I think it's 30.
Oh yeah.
Quinn. Yeah, Quinn Shute. He's the one who played free safety the most, and I was like, man, they got him back there as the free safety, and he was the one who, when Nwangpa was on the other side, Nwangpa would beat him to the football. because he's very like calculated. He's very, I don't want to say nervous or anxious. He's just very cautious. I understand I am the last. I'm it. If I miss,
last line of defense.
Last line of defense. Your offense isn't good. I can't fuck this up.
Right.
Like, I can't. Right? Like I have to make sure that I get this. And so he's very cautious. He's a good tackler, but you know, he's just I wonder if you wonder sometimes in terms of when players are playing on teams and they are that guy or they are that last resort, like it kind of slows them down and it hurts them because one side of the ball isn't doing their job. We talk about the quarterback position in terms of I gotta score every play, right?
Trying to do too much.
Trying to do too much. You can do the same thing on defense where it slows you down and your instincts aren't taking over because you don't want to make a mistake, because if you do, the game's probably over, right? So, but in terms of his ability to diagnose things, the thing I love about him most is when he was that single high, something crossed his face, he would take that thing away immediately. Like it was no longer an option, right? So and I thought he was okay in the box, but again, just a little bit slower to what's the word I'm looking for? To deduce. Am I saying that right? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Is that right?
Deduce.
Deduce. That's it. It don't even sound right. I'm saying it too fast. But yeah. And then the last guy that I got there is Sebastian Castro. Most of games I watched, he was the guy playing the nickel. But then I watched the Nebraska game where they were kind of rotating them from safety, nickel. It was like they were kind of going like this in terms of who was a single high, who was a two high. He kind of played all of it, but majority of the time when I saw him, he was playing in the nickel. This is the guy who's coming under control in the run game. He's kind of the prototypical nickel backer. Good, concise tackler. Good at timing up the blitzes when he is coming. No fear in taking off lineman that's headed his way. Often he's the one who's initiating the contact, and usually you want to do that if you are the smaller guy, right? Try to beat that guy to the spot. If not, you're on him. That way you can make your move. Can be a little over aggressive in the pass game, specifically in man coverage. And I wondered why he was so aggressive in man coverage, and I think it might be because of his speed. Because most of the time he was kind of the short to intermediate. He looks super comfortable in zone, but my concern for him would be his speed on the back end.
Yeah. I got the same thing as you with the long speed question mark. They didn't really like to put him in man coverage too much because I think of that long speed. I think the aggressiveness, like you said, can work against him. He's an older prospect. I think he might be 25 by the time he gets drafted. So that's going to make him fall down the board a little bit. But to me, out of all the three of these guys, I think Nwampa is the talent. But Sebastian Castro, to me, is the dog, man. He's that guy that's, like you say, he's a nickel DB. And, they call it the cash position over there, man. I was like, who's the cash? They call it the cash position.
I like it.
That star position in other schools, that rover guy. Yeah, it's a cash position. And Sebastian Castro does that. They'll set him on a nickel blitz at time. He sneaks up in the box, kind of like a pseudo linebacker, makes a lot of tackles in the box. He's a super competitive player. He likes to get involved. He's a guy that's going to always be around the football. He flies to the football with bad intentions. Like I said, that physical mindset through this football team, it permeates to this football team. He works through wide receivers, blocks really well on those screen passes. So he's a fighter, man. Like I said, he's a dog. He's a dog on his defense. He's going to be around the ball all the time. And then when they put him up high, he closes really quickly and he delivers the blow, just like Nwampa. He delivers a blow, even though he's not the biggest or the fastest guy. He just gets there quickly, instinctively, and very physical.
Nope. Helly was cooking. He was cooking.
Man.
Hold on. Let me bring it back. There he is. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know, man. But yeah.
You were cooking, bro.
I'm going in on Sebastian, man. When you watch him, man, he's just hair on fire all the time, flying to the football, deliver the big blow, and he'll separate the ball from the wide receiver's hands. And to me, he's going to earn a spot as a special teams player. If he's not to me, I don't think he's going to be starting because of the long speed question marks, but he could earn a spot on the special teams, be a dog out there, and eventually crack a starting lineup eventually in the NFL. So I like what I see from Castro, but like I said, Nwampa he's the special guy over there in Iowa on the back end. And then the last guy I have here is Jay Higgins. You look at Higgins, the linebacker, 34.
I didn't look at him, but when I was watching the three safeties, like you can't miss that dude, bro. Like you can't. I'm like, who is this guy, man? I'm checking his I'm looking at his numbers, looking at his, his demographic. I'm looking at everything, bro. I'm just checking him out.
Yeah, he's a guy.
His bio, excuse me.
I'm gonna like a lot, bro. Like the linebacker position, he's not gonna be the athletic, sparky, 4'4", 4'5" linebacker flying sideline to sideline, but. Talk about tackling. I think he led the nation in tackling. He had 171 tackles last season. I saw him stack and shed. And even when he didn't stack and shed, he just knows how to work his way around blocks and make a play. If you watch the Penn State game, I think he had 18 tackles in that game, bro. He was all over the ball carrier, every single play. And I saw him, even though he's not very, very fast in pass coverage, I saw a little speed out there, some fluidity in pass coverage. I think he just needs a little more fluidity and pass coverage to be a 3-down back. But like I said, he racks up the tackles. They line him in the A gap sometimes. He'll blitz close to the quarterback. And I think his superpower to me is the subtle movements he makes at the linebacker position. It's like a running back. You know how running backs make subtle moves to not take a clean shot? Well, he does that from the linebacker position where the offensive lineman, they can't get a clean shot on him. He kind of slips their blocks and racks up tackles. And he's another guy that'd be a beast on special teams, just like Sebastian Castro. But in the draft, he might go undrafted, might go day 3 because the speed and size of him might hurt his draft stock. But this guy's a player, man, and I'm a big fan of Jay Higgins, a linebacker from Iowa.
Yeah, we currently have him at 177 in the mock draft simulator. You moving him up, Headley? You moving him up?
I just know NFL teams are not going to draft him early.
Sure.
He's a guy to me like day 3 undrafted, but eventually year 2, year 3 in the NFL, he'll make a roster. Yeah. And if they start him, he's going to rack up a lot of tackles at the next level. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to move him up, but he's a guy that I'm going to keep my eye on this season.
Bro, 170 tackles, bro. You know what that means, bro? That means your offense was terrible, bro. A lot of 3 and outs, bro. That's what that means. And he got a lot of practice in terms of being subtle and not taking on those guards and tackles every other play. And by the way, in that Penn State game, bro, you want to watch the worst of Iowa offensive line?
They're getting after them.
Bro, them boys was getting worked, bro. Worked. It wasn't good, bro. That might have been the worst game of the season.
All right. Does that put a bow on our summer scouting for Iowa? All right. Before we move on to the Tarheels, I just want to let me just pull this up, see what it looks like on screen. Let's move ourselves.
Looks clean, bro.
Looks clean. Let's just yeah. I just want to plug the Patreon, patreon.com/couchpotatogm.com. As you can see, as we mentioned before, we do live film sessions, uncut, raw and uncut. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty entertaining, and it's always really interesting to hear what Headley and Drew have to think real time. You know what I'm saying? This is before they've made their notes and done their documentation and their cross checks and things of that nature. So we actually opened this up to our second and third tier members on the Patreon. So if you want some additional access to all 22 film, get our insights real time before we ever go live here on the Second Half Draft Show, definitely want to join us on the Patreon. So just wanted to plug that before we moved on to.
Bro, you done your pros too?
By myself.
Hey, man.
I hear y'all in my headphones. I don't see y'all on the screen.
I don't know what Juice doing, bro. I don't know what Juice is doing, bro. But listen.
Before we move on to the Tar Heels, man.
but before you get to the Tar Heels, bro, when you were saying the Patreon, bro, and you said, patreon.com and you said / bro, you know what I thought when you said / back page, bro. You ever been to back page?
Back pages? Back pages?
I haven't been to back pages, but I've been told the stories, bro. So when you said it, that's what popped in my head, bro.
Man, it's a classic story with some boys in Tallahassee with the back pages, bro. Boys is on it.
Woo!
Wow, bro. Wow.
I'm telling you, man. Listen,
Yo.
it's a good thing the Fed shut that down, bro.
Mr. C, look at Mr.
Oh,
C, bro.
man.
Mr. C's ex-wife was on it. Okay.
Hey man,
Yo.
that
Yo.
that was like it was like a black market, but it was legal black market.
But the thing about it is that like there's legal versions of that now, bro.
Yes, yeah,
that's the crazy thing, bro. How things have changed in such a short amount of time, bro. For sure. All right, let's talk about the Tar Heels.
The Tarly Hills.
UNC.
Yeah. UNC. Let me start with the running back. I'm starting with the offensive side, if you don't mind. Omarion Hampton. And this is one of those guys I wasn't sure what I was going to see. I knew they had a running back. I just wasn't sure who it was. And what I have for him here, man,
I know who he is.
Yeah, I saw him. He was gashing our boys.
It was. That's one of the tapes I did watch too. I said, "Oh, Miami. Oh, let me pull that up, bro, real quick, man." But what I have
to the tune of 200 yards, I already know, bro. I already know.
Y'all boys is that 2 years in a row, bro?
No. There was a little time between the Michael Carter, Javonte Williams 600-yard rushing game.
That's what that was. 600 yards.
I'm still scarred off of that one, bro.
Bro,
I ain't never seen nothing like it, bro. I've never seen anything like that.
I don't think we'll ever see anything like that ever again, bro.
Man, listen, you know when teams quit, bro. Certain teams that don't have a certain level of football character, they're not buying into what the coach is saying. You know what I'm saying? They fold up their tent, and that's when you get these really big performances. You see it like late in the year at the NFL. Yeah, at the NFL level. You know what I'm saying? They ain't got nothing to play for. Cats ain't trying to get hurt, whatever. That's what that was. That's what it seemed like that was.
Bro,
that day,
you know, as Stephen A. Smith would say, bro, that there's levels to this, dog. So there's level of quitting, bro. That was something I've never seen before, bro.
Right.
That was little league. We're the best team in the league, and y'all are the worst team in the league.
This is Derrick Henry playing high school football in Yulee, Florida, bro. That's what that was, bro. Like, you see what Derrick Henry does at the NFL level, bro. Just imagine 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds trying to tackle him, bro.
Bro, no, it's not. No, bro. That was bad,
bro.
That was Stone Cold Steve Austin in the corner stomping a mud hole in them boys, bro. That's what that was, bro.
I'm telling you. Business decisions for sure, bro. But that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, you messing up your paper. You got bad film now, bro.
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
Yeah, you got bad film now, man. At any rate,
ask your boy Leonard Taylor.
Where you at?
Bro, now, you know what's funny? What is it? USFL? What's funny is that I'm watching film for Clemson, and I was watching that particular game, bro. And he's all over the place making plays, bro.
He got the potential, bro.
Like, he got the talent, bro. He just don't have the work ethic. Bro. So,
those two things got to mesh, bro. They got to match.
Yes, they do. Yes,
or come somewhere close, bro. All right. Omarion Hampton, I got here, has good ability to get up the field. Then what I got here? No,
your water.
Hey, bro, yeah. I thought he was like describing that. Omarion Hampton got this good ability to get up, and then that's what I thought he was
doing. So two things: I missed tight, and then phlegm, bro. I got it though. I got it. Has good ability to get up the field, then puts his foot in the ground, and can go laterally, and then put his foot in the ground again, and then get upfield. Feet don't stop turning. Man went for 1,700 yards, 6 touchdowns last year.
6?
To have 16.
Oh, okay. I thought you said 6.
16.
Okay.
Oh, no,
it was 16.
That
didn't make sense.
No, you said 6. You said 6.
I said 6?
That didn't make any sense, bro.
No. I said 16, bro. 16.
Nah, we both heard 6, bro.
Something's wrong with y'all. Something's wrong with y'all,
Mr. C, man. Mr. C, let him know.
Or my mic dropped out, bro. I don't know. People are just dropping off all of a sudden, bro. So, maybe that's it. But 16 touchdowns, 1,700 yards, appears to have soft hands. And he catches all hands when coming out the backfield. They didn't use him in that fashion in terms of routes and different things, but just that safety valve. He was nice. Doesn't run low to the ground though. He runs a little high, but it doesn't necessarily phase him because he's able to take on incoming defenders and just kind of run through those guys. Again, he's not easy to tackle. I forgot to get his numbers, but I think he's 6'2", 6'1", 6'2". And I think he's like 220, 225, something like that.
I got him at 6 foot. I got him at 6 foot 220.
6 foot. Okay, 6 foot 220. Okay, that's still good frame. Works well to move off his blocks. More likely to break a tackle than make somebody miss, but he does have some subtleness to him in terms of his movement. I seen one nasty. I'm gonna find the clip and we're gonna throw it up on Twitter because it was nasty. It was a nasty joint. Doesn't have the breakaway speed that you want from the position. But I don't knock any running back for that. That's more of icing on the cake for me. He falls forward on most tackles. And pass pro appears more than serviceable as his head is on the swivel and is meeting the free rusher or the blitzer. Just need him to make sure that his head is up whenever he's going to get that block. And sometimes a lot of these running backs they want to throw a shoulder into a guy, they want to throw a forearm into a guy versus kind of standing in front of the guy, taking the blow, and then kind of latching on to the guy, right? So I think he needs a little bit more work in terms of that. But I like him. I think this is going to be a solid running back class for sure. And I think he has a little bit of grind into his game as well.
Yeah. Now you speaking about the running back class. I just went to the class to see kind of where I have Amarian Hampton amongst them. Where you got him, man? Because to me, I see NFL Draft Buzz. They got him at RB3 right now. But
RB3?
I like some guys under him. I like Etienne a little more than him. I like Damian Martinez a little more than him.
I do. Yeah.
Junkins, they have us RB1. I'm fine with that right now. And then Ollie Gordon, I got to do some more work on the Oklahoma State.
I like Gordon too.
Yeah,
so, I probably got about five or six, somewhere around there.
Got you. Right here I have he's a big back that can run through tackles. And once he gets to the second level, third level, he got this extra gear. He got the second gear, and he could burst through the hole. I know Miami. I know Juice. I saw him run by Cam Kitchens. That 4.6 speed Cam Kitchens. Yeah, he ran right by him. To me, he's more of a straight line runner right now. Rather than a twitchy, make you miss guy. But like Drew said, there is things on tape where he has subtle movements to make a guy miss. To me, if he gets a crease and he hits it, he's going to hit it hard with burst and strength through contact. He's kind of a guy you got to have to kind of gang tackle. He's going to run through that first solo tackle attempt. He's always falling forward. And with his hands look really natural out of the backfield. He's just not a very good, I wouldn't say not a very good, but he's just not a route running type of running back. The Bijans, the Alvin Kamara's, Christian McCaffrey, he's not that. He just a security blanket with nice hands out of the backfield. Run him to the flat or something like that. And in the open field, man, he kills angles, especially when he's untouched. If he goes through the first line of defense untouched, it might be night. It could be 6 points on the scoreboard. And areas of improvement, I think pass blocking technique, I think it could improve a little bit. I had that. And then as more and more I watched him, I thought, okay, he got better reps as a pass blocker. So let's just see if he improves that in 2024. And here I have, he's not a dynamic route runner, so that might hurt his stock a little bit, but very good running back, very physical. He's the type of guy that you pair him with another guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield, and then you got your two-headed monster right there. So Hampton's a really good back out of North Carolina.
Yeah, I think he solidifies it. Well, let me say this. It's a talented class, potentially a very, very talented, deep class. So I think there's going to be a certain level of, what's your flavor. But I think when you talk about the overall frame, the body frame, right? He has a frame of a featured back, and you see some upper echelon ability in his bag, in his skill set. So I think, you mentioned his hands out of the backfield. To me, it's a question about how he's being used, right? Perhaps he is more dynamic as a receiver, and we're just not necessarily aware of it. The fact that he does have the soft hands, that he seems to be consistent in terms of catching the football when given the opportunity is a bonus. It is a bonus. You know what I'm saying? So when you talk about a guy getting, 250 carries in this day and age in a single season, right? His first year as a starter, and 1,500 yards, almost 20 TD. That's pretty damn impressive. That's pretty damn impressive. So he's gonna have another year here to build on that. But I think just in terms of that body we were just talking about, we're talking 6 foot, 6'1", 215 to 220 pounds, with the ability to actually hit his head on the goalpost, right? I think that is what's going to push him into that conversation of top 5. There may be some volatility in terms of where our rankings ultimately end up, because there's certain skill sets that we prefer or we like a little bit more. There may be, like from a vision perspective or just a natural feel for it, you might lean in a different direction. But I think Hampton's impressive. I think he has a chance to really bolster his stock, right? I know he's already considered from a consensus perspective among the top 5, but I think he can make a run at the top back in this class. I think he, just in terms of the entire skill set and the way he projects to the next level, he can make a run at as a first running back off the board. We didn't see Jonathan Brooks coming. We didn't see that coming. You know what I'm saying? This guy already has really good film. You know what I'm saying? If he's able to build on that now, who knows? Who knows where he ultimately lands up? Mr. Seabrasky, I think that's Max Johnson. I think that's Brad Johnson's son. So we're talking 6'5", 6'6", but that's pedigree right there. He's a quarterback. He's definitely a quarterback.
So is Max Johnson is Jake Johnson is his brother. So, or the other brother as the tight end. I didn't look at those guys, but coming from Texas A&M. Yeah, Max Johnson was originally at from LSU. So he went to LSU. To Texas A&M to now UNC.
Yeah, so, a grad transfer at UNC now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, the next guy I have here.
Oh, okay. You talking about Boaz? Yeah, I'm not familiar with Boaz.
Oh, Boaz. Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I didn't look at him either. Yeah, next guy I have here is Bryson Nesbitt, the tight end. He's one of those tight ends in a wide receiver body. It looks very fluid running down the seams. He's able to adjust his body and use his hands to catch the football on the move. He eats. That's the middle of the field. That's kind of where he lives. He eats in the middle of the field. He could turn it up and make a man miss in the open field. So he has good athleticism. Like I said, he's pretty much in a wide receiver body right now. What is he, like 230 something? So he's able to catch the ball outside his frame also and use his body to absorb contact. I like his ability to track the ball over his shoulders. It looks very natural doing that. And you just got to give him opportunities in one-on-one coverage. Like I said, you just got to throw it up to him because, like I said, he tracks the ball really well. He adjusts the passes, and he has strong hands through contact. I have some things he needs to improve upon here. For some reason, I don't know if he was hurt last season, Drew, but he didn't look as explosive in 2023 that I remember seeing him the year before. And they don't use him much as a blocker, so I'm not sure how complete he is. He's not one of those guys like we talked about Luke Lachey from Iowa, where you could line him with inline block and he could be a receiver. He's more of the pass catching tight end. To me, he's better against zone right now than man. I don't think he's a big time separator either. I guess I'm a little spoiled with some of the tight ends in the past that could separate. Because to me, when I watch Lachey and Bryson Nesbitt, I just like, okay, at the next level now, how well are you going to separate at the next level? I'm just trying to project to the next level. You can separate against college guys, but at the NFL level, I just want to see how they're going to adjust to the separation at that level.
Yeah, I got here as a big wide receiver masquerading as a tight end, listed at 6'5", 235, plus catch radius, can turn a badly thrown ball into a catch. Not afraid of contact over the middle. No real wasted in time and effort when getting into his route. Gets his head around, like you said, tracks the ball well down the field, especially over his shoulder. Finds and falls into the holes of the zone, man. He kind of makes himself a little smaller. I mean, 6'5". I mean, it sounds ridiculous, right? But he can make himself smaller inside those zones. So he's a smaller target for defenders by kind of falling backwards. There was who was that? Was it Miami or Pittsburgh? I can't remember the game I was watching, but your boy got it in there, and he kind of fell back and caught it for touchdown, split the defenders. It was clean and nice. I think he's a red zone weapon, but I think he's kind of going to waste, man. I'm not sure I know that UNC offense usually has two or three, or not two or three, but at least one or two guys that are kind of the go-to guys, and then Nesbitt's kind of that third option. So I'm not sure, but if this is my offense, he's going to get more touches and more run, as far as I'm concerned. Now, there may be an issue in terms of him separating, because I have here, like Ellie was saying, I have here when he's running his routes, if he's given a free release or just too much space, he can separate. The worry is if someone's in close quarters or not given that space, what does it look like, right? And again, like you said, Headley, he didn't look as explosive, so maybe that's a box we need to check to make sure he didn't, regress, or so hopefully he's coming in fully healthy going into the season, and maybe we'll see the Nesbitt that we saw the year before, right? I got here. What else I got here? Plays the F role in the offense. I don't know what you call that position in terms of it's not quite tight end. It's kind of behind the tackle. I don't know if we call that a halfback. I'm calling it a wing back. I don't know what we're calling that, but that a wing. That's kind of where he lived. You know what I'm saying? To get those free releases. So maybe there is an issue in terms of him being able to beat that press release. Although they don't press in college, so I'm not sure. Maybe they're trying to hide him and to create some separation between him and the defenders. But yeah, I'm looking for big things from him, man. I wanted to be more productive. He wasn't too bad this year. I think he had 5 or 6 touchdowns. I think like just around 500 yards, something like that. I'm looking for more, man. I'm looking for more from him, man. And I really think he's more of a receiver than a tight end by a good bit.
I'm always cautiously optimistic about players like this, right? Because you can see that, if he gets into the right offense with the right type of play caller, he could make some noise, but it rarely works out that way. You understand what I'm saying? And you know how these NFL teams feel about the tight end position, most of them, right? You are an extension of the offensive line. There's a lot of utility that is expected of the tight end position. You're going to be a lead blocker. You're going to be, the up man on special teams, so if you're not quite a receiver and you don't necessarily separate at a high enough level outside the numbers, can you play the big slot? Well, if those nickel defensive backs, those safeties are taking you away, then can you handle the linebackers? Well, now you're no longer flex, so you're in line. You can't really block, so it becomes very difficult for a player like that to get on the field and to actually be able to do what they do best, which is actually play in space and be a pass catcher, right? So I'm always cautiously optimistic about them because, again, I think in a game of mismatch, there is a role for that player. But because of the demands of the tight end position, I'm assuming that's what he's going to be playing at the next level, it's difficult for that player to have any success. Even guys who clearly do it all, right, generally have a little bit of a learning curve as it relates to being able to play at a high level or a high enough level at the tight end position at the next level. It generally doesn't happen immediately. We don't always see the Sam Laportas of the world, right? That's usually an outlier. So a guy like this, again, who is more tweener than anything else, it's tough. It's tough. You want to see these guys get a shot. I mean, you could think about it. You got the Jaheim Bells of the world more recently, like those type of players. Like you can see that's a unique skill set, right? And that could be a difference maker for you. But are coaches gonna trust them enough to play them the amount of snaps that need to be played in order to garner those opportunities? That's always my question mark there with a Brian Nesbitt.
Or use them appropriately. I mean,
yeah.
Kyle Pitts is a prime example, like stuck in an offense that, is back in the day. He's not fit for the back in the day offense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
yeah. And the thing about Kyle Pitts is so certainly there's a miscast in terms of the offense, what's being asked of him, but he got the draft capital, right? He's a top 4 pick. He's a top 5 pick. You understand what I'm saying? So you know what you're drafting him for. And he moves differently.
Exactly. Elite athleticism. Like
exactly.
With Nesbitt, if you can't block, you got to be an elite athletic tight end
exactly.
at the next level.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, and he kind of is missing that. So, yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic as well with Nesbitt. I'm with you, Juice.
Mr. Seabrasky checking on your health, Drew. You all right?
Oh, no. I like to do this in the house, bro. This is what I do.
It's cold in there when you got your AC on, bro. You're under 70?
Nah, I ain't never under 70.
You
Don't
see,
do that
you
over
see
here.
old breath, bro.
Never that, bro. It's at 69, bro. Somebody gonna be in trouble now.
Yeah, that's a fight. That's an argument. Bro, before we move on, bro. Speaking of which, bro, like I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. You want to turn the thermostat down, but then be up under the covers.
Under the covers, yeah, bro. It's as backwards as it could be, bro. It don't make no sense.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't make no sense.
I don't want no gender wars right now, but yeah. that's how it goes, bro.
The logic don't logic, bro. The math ain't mathing, bro. It's not mathing, bro.
Oh man.
Wow.
All right. Who's up next here for UNC?
You got anybody else on the offensive side, Drew?
Yeah, I got one more player. I got the right guard, Will Lampkin. Got nice feet, mirror and match. This guy will mirror and match you all the way across the formation, bro. You seen that? I don't know if y'all seen that post on Twitter. It might be on Instagram too, where the bear is he's in the forest and there's some random mirror, bro, and he walks across the mirror. He's jumping and freaking out, bro. Just you know what I'm saying? But that's kind of what Lampkin, just his ability to just kind of mirror all the way across. He's nice and clean. He'll pass guys off to the center or the tackle. And he's looking for work. That free guy plays to the whistle, and maybe a tick after. With a little bit of aggression, will keep pushing and blocking even if the play is not on his side, which is something that I love from offensive linemen. Love his movement to the second level. If he's clean, if he doesn't have to come off a guy and he sees a guy that's a linebacker that's just kind of just standing around and kind of looking, or a safety that's coming down in the box that's creeping, he's able to get to that second level, he's not going to overrun it, but he's coming under control. He's going to be aggressive, and you're probably no longer a part of the play. The issue that I have with him here is that he's listed at 5'11", 290, right? So light in the pants. Yeah. I saw it on one's website. I didn't check another, but 5'11", 290. Maybe I'm off. Check that for me. Make sure I'm right, bro.
He's not getting
drafted.
He's off team boards. 5'11".
Come on, man. Let me check this, man. Yeah, check. Let me check it. Let me pull it real quick. But you can tell he's light in the pants because he'll get blown back. Pause. He'll get pushed back. Okay.
Gotta play center, bro.
Maybe. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, definitely.
And lacks the drive and the strength in the run game to kind of push guys out, but he does seal guys off. So if you're not, I say this all the time, probably every week, if you're not the guy that can move guys out and you got to be a guy that can turn guys, seal guys to open up the hole that we're trying to run to. So, but I'm pulling it right now. Let me make sure.
Yeah, that's even small for like center standards. 5'11", like. I don't know. Is there a 5'11" center?
Yeah, 5'11", 290, bro. That's what I got, bro. Our lads. I can go to ESPN. I mean, if I go to UNC, I know what it's gonna say. He's 6'2", 330, bro.
There are a couple of guys who are six, between 6 foot 6'1". You know what I'm saying? Yeah. A couple, but yeah, that's definitely an outlier. It's definitely an outlier.
Yep. So let's get to the defensive side of the football here for North Carolina. And let's go with Kamen Rucker. This is the guy that jumped out on tape. That first game last season against South Carolina, he just couldn't be blocked in that game. I don't know how many sacks he ended up with. I think he had like 5.5 tackles for loss in that game. Beating up Spencer Rattler in that game. And I just didn't understand it, man. They put a tight end over him a couple of times. And this is a guy that you cannot put a tight end over. He'll take advantage of that every single time because of his speed and his tenacity, his power. Like I said, unblocked. He was unblocked sometimes in that game. Also, I like his ability to kind of slither through the line. He uses kind of his quickness and his agility to close. His first step, off the snap. I really like his first step. He has a good blend of speed to power and very disruptive. He was disruptive all season long for North Carolina, and it didn't really matter what side he rushed from. It could be on the left side, the right side. Sometimes they reduce him inside as well, and he just blows things up. with speed and force, man. He's an all gas type of football player. Came in Rucker, and I thought he would have came out last season. He stayed in school, so maybe he trying to improve his draft stock, man. So I think it's gonna be a pretty good year for Kamen Rucker at North Carolina.
Drew, before you give us your thoughts on Rucker, where did you have him among last year's edges, Headley? Is he in that Xavier Thomas, Mo Kamara tier, that around there for you?
Yeah, okay. I think around fifth round, something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe he wants to work his way up into day 2 of this upcoming draft. Mute.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds about right in terms of where you would have him. The one thing that I'm going to be paying attention to for him a lot when it comes to the combine is his Sparky numbers. I just want to see what that stuff looks like. Just want to make sure he checks some boxes for me. But I got that boy nice, bro. Nice burst off the edge, can convert his speed to power, and he'll jolt the offensive lineman like a defibrillator, bro. With his heavy hands, violent hands, bro. Sometimes them boys like, whoa. You need to relax, man. And the fact that he plays
we need to trademark that.
Yeah,
we need to coin that.
Defibrillator
hands, bro. Yeah.
So let me say this. I had fibrillator, and I looked at it and I said,
that's not right.
That
is missing a couple letters there, huh?
Defibrillator. But we got to coin that. Has both inside and outside moves, can win with quickness or power. He's 6'2", so he has that natural leverage over most offensive linemen, so he has that advantage. Has the disruptor trait when it comes to the line of scrimmage. Just tearing. If he doesn't make the play, he's ruining the play, or he's turning it inside to his help, right? A guy here, high motor, high energy, closes out quickly, appears to be long and lengthy. Again, want to check to make sure I'm seeing what I'm seeing. That may not be true because he looks like he has some tackle range. He's physical and violent in the run game. So, and again, he's playing on a defense where he can attack. He is a guy who stands up. He doesn't put his hand in the ground. Heather, did you see his hand in the ground at all? I don't think I ever saw it. His hand in the ground.
No, I saw it more standing up. He was more standing up. Yeah.
Yeah, so if this was a guy that was standing at 6'3", 6'4", because I think he's 265 is what they have him listed at. I don't know if that's true. I don't even know if he's 6'2". Right? And now that I'm thinking about it, that might be a damn lie. He might be 6 foot, right? But if he's 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", still at the 265 or 270 and moving the way he moves, we might have to relook at this guy if he continues to play the way that he's playing, man. But that those stats might be a lie, bro. So we'll see.
And then another guy that flashed for me was Desmond Evans on the D line, number 10. Long, lengthy guy, long-limbed. I just saw this move when he used his speed as a stand-up edge, and then he with the spin move got the Spencer Rattler in that South Carolina game. I'm not sure how highly touted he is as a prospect, but he got some things to him that 6'6". I think he's 270. So he got the size, and he showed some quickness on the field as well. So just a guy to watch on that North Carolina defensive line.
It's a guy I think we've been talking about for at least 2 years. Power Eccles. I got here.
That's your guy.
My guy was the other guy. I forgot his
Cedric
name.
Gray.
Cedric Gray. Yeah.
I was saying it tongue in cheek. I know Cedric Gray is your guy. Power Eccles. Yeah, we have been discussing him for the last couple of years. You're right.
Yes. Excels when is an attacking style defense. Well, what do you know? They play in an attacking style defense, especially coming down in the run game. Was already adept at playing pass coverage as he moves really well. I'm picking up backs out the backfield, dropping into coverage, taking away the throwing lane, sniffing out the screens. When he sees it, let me rephrase that. When he sees blood, he closes quickly. So see ball, go get ball kind of guy. Has the feel for when he's blitzing to time it up just right. Plays fast and quick, sideline to sideline guy, high energy, high effort guys. There's a lot of guys on this defense that play this way. High energy, high effort, back-to-back tackle 100 seasons, listed at 6 foot 225. And so you kind of worry about the size in terms of, again, not the tallest and not the heaviest. So he can get caught in the wash, but he seems like he understands that I'm a smaller guy, so I can't can't allow guys to get their hands on me because that's not going to be a good thing for me. So he'll try to beat guys to the spot.
Yeah, my first note here I have is always around the football. So when you say he's back-to-back 100 tackle guy, that makes a lot of sense because he's always around the football and he kind of gets there with speed. When I looked at Cedric Gray and Power Echols, they were kind of like opposite players. Cedric Gray was more physical thumper, more instinctive than a Power Echols. I thought Power Echols more faster football player, probably better in pass coverage. I think we made fun of him, not made fun of him, but talk about his name is Power Echols, and he doesn't play with much power. So I think his instinctiveness can improve to diagnose a little quicker. Read and react can improve as well. Like I said, he gets caught up in the wash at times, stack and shed. He's not really doing that stack and shed, and that's a lost art, man. So not a lot of linebackers are doing it. But when he's free, that's the type of guy that you kind of want to put him on that weak side, make him be free, and make him go sideline to sideline. He can make big hits on your defense. And like I said, in pass coverage, he's pretty good in pass coverage as well. And to me, what I think he needs to clean up this upcoming season is this tackling. Sometimes he'd come in there with an arm tackle and runners could break his tackles. I know he got 100 tackles, but it could have been 130 or 170 like my guy Jay Higgins from Iowa if he could secure some more tackles. So that's something I'm watching with Power Echols this season. Next guy I have here, Elijah Huzzy. He's the corner, nickel, safety, kind of do it all back there, defensive back. I got him here as a slot corner. I like his ability to turn his hips. To me, he's going to be a special team stud at the next level. He can return, he can cover punts. He does it all kind of on special teams. I think that's where he's going to make his home. I saw him have a 52-yard punt return touchdown. Also at an interception where he turned his hips, tracked the football like deep down the field, like return style. So, really tracks the football really well. And then had another interception when he jumped the route in zone on the boundary. So, just always around the football, gets his hands on the football. I think him and Kamen Rucker, those are the two guys that I saw that just kept on flashing last season for North Carolina. So, Huzzy might be one of those day 3 undrafted guys because he's not the biggest football player. I think he's under 200 pounds, but man, he's a demon on special teams, man. So I think he can help a football team out. It's 3 phases to the game, and special team is one of them. So I think that's where he'll live at the next level.
I think that's what's going to get him drafted at the end of the day, right? With the return rules being what they are, and I think that will help his case as a day 3 player. And it's funny that you mentioned that Rucker and Hussey were kind of guys that flashed as we were watching college football, just watching it as fans of the game last season, because they both showed up on our stock watch, right? When we were talking about guys who, had an impressive week, whatever the case may be. Those are 2 players that showed up in that category, along with Amari Hampton on the offensive side of the ball for UNC. So definitely playmakers there.
Yeah, I got one more guy. I don't have notes on him. Just want to make a note of it. It's the center. Austin, is it Blaske? I don't know if I'm saying it right. Blaske? Something in there silent probably. But he's a grad transfer from Georgia, number 58. So I'm assuming this is going to be it should be a good thing for him. He's coming from Georgia, so this is a guy maybe we just keep our eye on. Keep a note for him. They have him as guard or center, but I think right now he's listed as a center. So got to keep our eye on.
All right, good note there. Again, I want to encourage all of our viewers to check us out on Patreon and our mock draft simulator. If you're ever curious as to how to find any of our content on any of our platforms, visit us at couchpotatogm.com. All right, let's talk about the Clemson Tigers, our final team of this evening, and we'll start on the offensive side of the ball, although it's a bit of a frustrating team to watch on the offensive side of the ball. We've talked about it over the last few years. The play calling has always been a bit of a head scratcher, and I know they kind of made it a bit of a shift in terms of play caller. So I'm gonna shoot him a little bail, right? Had a young quarterback, first year in a new offense. So, but there still seem to be some question marks in terms of, when it was appropriate to dial up certain types of plays, down and distance. What's your approach? Again, young quarterback who had some struggles with ball security and accuracy at times. That may have played a role, but certainly a bit of a frustrating offense to watch for sure. That being said, they still have some NFL caliber players on this offense. Who stood out to you, Headley?
But before I get into that, bro, I got something I want to say, bro. I was going through the X, right? And
Right.
the new college game drop was it
Yeah.
25.
Yeah,
And Clemson was the highest ranked team in the ACC, 90 overall, bro. I'm like, bro, what year are we in, bro? This is
right.
2021.
Right.
Are they making up for all the years that they missed previously?
Must be, bro. Legacy.
That is what it is. Yeah.
They
got it on an average, bro. On an average over the last 10 years, bro.
They're not the best team in the ACC, man. Florida State, Miami, I'll take those two teams over them. Maybe even North Carolina at this point.
I'd agree.
But let's start off with Blake Miller, the right tackle from Clemson. He started there as a true freshman, and he started ever since. Lots of experience. I don't think he's missed a game since there. This is going to be his third season here at Clemson coming up here. And to me, he moves very well in the run or the pass game. Like, he gets in a really good position, very athletic, light on his feet. His hands, I saw a couple games on, okay, he utilizes his hands well. Then the more you watch with him, something's wrong with his hands, bro. It's always low. It's like he's going chest first into defenders time after time. But, I like his ability to get off the ball quickly. He could block down. He could open up running lanes. And he could get one because he's very athletic. So he could get one and utilize his quick feet to change directions and get the second guy. But the strength and anchor is missing with his game. He'll get pushed back. So even if he gets to that second guy, he's going backwards to the quarterback, man. He needs to get a little stronger, in my opinion. But very fluid mover. Like I said, a lot of experience. He gets out there in the screen game. He attaches at the second level. I just need to clean up in pass protection, getting stronger, getting his anchor better, and just getting those hands better. Because when he uses those hands, it's effective. But a lot of reps, man, he's just not using it, man. It's like I'm not sure what he's doing. I know they're teaching low hands, but if your hands stay low the whole time, it's not going to work, man. So I think he needs to improve upon that in this upcoming season. And if he improves his hands and his strength and his anchor, I could possibly see him being a day 2, maybe round 1 pick because of the talent and the fluidity and the athleticism that he possesses.
So I was, when you watch some players, bro, you try not. I try to divvy it up, bro. I try to find all my positives and a couple of negatives. That's usually how it goes, right? It's usually a bunch of positives and a few negatives, right?
Yeah,
bro. We delve right into the negatives, bro. I was like, all right, okay, let me just make sure this is something that I'm seeing consistently. Maybe and it was just them hands, bro.
It's bad.
I'm like, how is this guy still starting, bro? Like, this is crazy, bro. And I was like, okay, maybe it's just a bad game. Okay, maybe he's hurt. All right, let's move to a game. Let's put 5 weeks. Let's put 5 weeks into this. Let's go to next game. Same result, bro. And I got here early hands, late feet. But like when you combine it with the low hands, so let me adjust. Early hands, late feet, but then I got hands aren't doing anything, bro. Like he's got them ready, they're low, and then he got late feet, bro. So I'm like, what am I watching? Who's teaching this, bro? Like it didn't make sense.
Bingo. You just said it. Who is teaching this? This is coaching, bro. When I watch Blake Miller, I say, bro, it's coaching, bro. Because I'm with you, Headley. I think he moves very well. You get him at the second level. You get him in the screen game, his ability to recover. His eyes aren't always where they're supposed to be, right? So you can get him with some gains because of the eye discipline, but not because of a lack of athleticism and change of direction ability. He has that. He absolutely has that. And I think, and I actually have a note here, when he gets a good punch, he's in good shape.
Bro, you just said it, okay? So I'm going to go to where I got the note for the punch, bro. Use the punch, bro. It looks like he's thinking through what's happening, bro. And I got here in terms of him getting to the second level. If he doesn't have to think about it and just go, he could be a guy, bro. It's wild how you watch, and it's almost malpractice that's happening to him because there's a lot to work with, and it looks purely coaching just terrible, bro. It's bad. And I'm surprised that the quarterback didn't get killed, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
He's a young player with a lot of experience. It sounds like a little bit of an oxymoron, but as Headley mentioned, he's been starting from day one. Dabo throws his guys out there. Dabo's not in the portal. Dabo's not in the portal at all, bro. Right? You know what I'm saying? So these guys are being asked at a young age to come in and contribute. And of course, when you're playing, Power 5 football at the tackle position with the likes of Jared Verse, Patrick Payton across from you, then you got to deal with the Reuben Baines and like Kyman Ruckers, as you mentioned earlier. Like he's been battle tested. It's not as if he hasn't been battle tested, but I really do think it's a coaching situation with him. I have a few notes that I wanted to touch on here. I thought he had a great feel for the double team when they ran duo. You know what I'm saying? And good pad level, good leg drive. He actually showed a little bit of nastiness in the run game. You understand what I'm saying? So again, there's a lot to work with. This is some high quality clay here, Drew. I'm with you. I'm with you. There certainly is a coaching issue there. As I mentioned, definitely has the requisite athleticism to remain at tackle. The reason why I put that note there is because as I'm watching his pass sets, it's always a jump set or a 45. It's no vertical sets, bro. There's no vertical sets. He's not getting any depth. You understand what I'm saying? And to me, a guy that athletic should be able to do a vertical set, which tells me you don't have the technique, you're not getting the coaching, right? Yeah. And when you combine that with the inconsistency of his hands, guys with that wide 9 alignment with the speed rush to the outside are going to give him trouble because he can't get to his landmark because he's not getting any depth, right? And then if an edge rusher has a plan, a secondary or tertiary, he can't reset his hands, right? His hands aren't where they need to be. You understand what I'm saying? In order to recover from that perspective, his feet can get him there, but his hands aren't where they need to be. So I really, it's difficult. It's difficult for me to watch a player that moves as well as he does, but never have a vertical set. I want to see the kick. I want to see the big kick, get to your landmark, and then do your thing. And the thing about the anchor head, I don't even think it's an anchor issue. I think it's a weight distribution issue. I don't think it's a matter of power. I think his like I said, from a technical perspective, his technique isn't where it needs to be. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you're always doing a jump set, you can't really sink your hips, right? You're trying to get up on a guy. It's a jump set 45 degree is much from my perspective, and I know there are offensive line coaches who are going to disagree with this. To me, it suggests run blocking, right? You know what I'm saying? You want to eliminate the space between you and that edge. You understand what I'm saying? And I think when you get a nice quality kick from a vertical set perspective and you have good hand placement, it is much easier to sink those hips and anchor under those circumstances. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't actually think it's a power issue. I think it's a technique issue that has led to an inconsistent anchor from that perspective. Like I said, carries hands entirely too low. Let me see what else I had here. I'm just going to reiterate this point. If he has a quality punch, he can stymie good edge rushers. I saw him against Verse. I saw him against Payton. I saw him against Bain. Saw him against Rucker, right? With his hands, when that punch was good, he was fine. But unfortunately,
where the hell is it?
You know that scene from Talladega Nights? And your boy Will Ferrell, he's being interviewed, and he's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. That's how I feel about Blake Miller, but very talented player. He's intriguing. He's intriguing. I can understand why we certainly have him fairly high up the rankings, and hopefully he takes a step within the season. But I think he needs to get with Big Duke Manning. I think he needs coaching.
Private coaching.
He needs yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Get them privates, bro. Get them privates. I got here my last note. I got a lot of reps I watched, whether he won, lost, or stalemate. Boy, it was a trial, bro. Everything was a trial, bro. And as an offensive lineman, you can't have that every play, bro. You can't be going to war every single play. There's got to be plays where you can just kind of take a breath, bro. And everything was a struggle. But when you don't use your hands, it's like I throw you in the pool and you don't. You know what I'm saying?
You're trying to swim with your chest.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. If I want you in 3 feet of water, brother.
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying? You're not even in the deep end. But yeah.
Yeah, he's an intriguing prospect for sure. There's a lot of question marks around him, but you can see the talent. You could see the natural ability there for sure.
They're messing up that man draft stock, bro, because he gonna mess around, get drafted lower than he should, and then he's gonna end up being a star in the league, and they're gonna be like, why'd you get drafted? Day 3 because he played for Clemson.
I mean that's certainly a possibility. I think on the opposite end of that spectrum, you're going to find teams who are like, listen, he checks all our boxes.
Yeah.
We just need to work with him. We just need to coach him up. You know what I'm saying? But not every team is capable of that. Not every team has quality offensive line coaches and so on and so forth. So, it'll, like I said, it'll be very interesting to watch Blake Miller this season for sure.
Yeah, that suggests to me like a day 2 prospect.
Sure.
He doesn't have the tape to go round 1, but if I think I could mold him and develop this guy to the next level, those offensive linemen usually go day 2. So, we'll see what he does. But the coaching, man, and not just him, the quarterback too, Cade Klubnik, man, it's bad coaching over there, bro. Like, this guy's a former 5-star, well-touted prospect. He just hasn't lived up to it yet. And to me, like we always talk about Clemson, it's like they're not getting the proper coaching. The scheme it doesn't look good over there. And this guy has all the arm strength in the world. He has athleticism. It's just the mechanics is off. He'll miss those easy layups sometimes. To me, he doesn't see the field as well. He holds the ball long. He's locked onto his first read all the time. And if the first read is not there, he can't get to the second or third. So he tries to use his legs and run. And the decision-making is not there. The accuracy is not there. So, man, how does a guy, 5-star, this guy that's supposed to be the next one over there at Clemson, just looks bad? And this is kind of like what's been going on at Clemson for a while now. DJU, another quarterback, 5-star, supposed to be the guy, just hasn't looked good. He transferred, looked better at Oregon State than he did all these years at Clemson. Now he's going to Florida State. It's probably going to look better over there also. It's just, I don't know, bro. Your boy, what's your boy name again?
Dabo?
Your boy Dabo? I know he's like the man over there, and he can't get fired, but it's not looking good over there for Clemson right now. And, Clay Klubnik is another guy that not getting the coaching, and it doesn't look good on the football field. And, I'm not sure where he goes. I'm not sure what kind of season he's going to have this year. And it's just sad, bro. It's just sad what's going on over there with Clemson right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. But let me read these notes here. For Klubnik, Cade Klubnik. A guy here will throw into tight windows. Will throw it up. He will give his guy a chance. Does have a strong arm, like you said. I think he can make all the throws. A guy here can be a little assumptive, and specifically in bunch formations where there's rubs and crossers and different things to create the separation.
That it's going to be there. And it ain't there.
And he'll throw it. I don't care, bro. I'm throwing it to that guy. And if he would have just waited another half a second, if he would have looked to his right versus his left, he's got guys wide open. So he'll lock on the guys, so it's this is consistent, through every game that I've watched. Well, now I'll give him this. He'll check that box. He will use the middle of the field. Congratulations. Thank you. And I wrote this note, and I was still watching. I said, I don't think I ever saw him step up and make a throw. And then I watched him step up and make a throw. You know who it was against? Miami for a touchdown.
We won that game. We won that game, by the way. With the backup quarterback. With the backup quarterback, by the way. But I hear you. I hear you.
He doesn't step up into throws. He's more often ready to either back up, go to his left, go to his right. Like and when he works within the pocket, he can sit in the pocket, can move around in the pocket. It looks like he looked like a 5-star player, but that it's not comfortable. He doesn't do it enough. I don't know if that's something that they're not teaching in practice, because that's something you have to learn. You got to be able to operate in the pocket. And I swear if I see him take off one more time, bro,
he's going to bail. He's going to bail.
And you know what kills me? He don't have that, bro. That ain't him, bro. Like, to end that, I think it was the Miami game. To end the Miami game, they had him running the football, bro. I don't think there was one successful run that I saw him, whether it was him scrambling, whether it was him taking off, whether it was him pressured. It don't look good, bro. Like I know you was doing that in high school. and you're able to
I was just
outrun
about to say
everybody.
that. I was just about
You're
to say
not
that.
doing that.
You were a better
No,
athlete in
bro.
high school. You were the
Yes.
best athlete in
Yep.
high school, but not at this level. Yeah. I was
It's
just
not a
about to say
thing.
that.
Stop. He needs to. And he has enough to kind of extend plays and stuff, but that's the
Sure.
extent of it,
Sure.
right? And he's not a
Functional
guy that's
mobility.
gonna and that's all we want. I don't need you to play hero ball, but at times they kind of turn him into that guy, and you can just see it. He don't want nothing. He'll stretch a play out as long as he can if he sees defenders coming, bro, and it ends up being a no gain or a loss, bro. So in my eyes, you need to scrap all them run plays for him, bro. Just throw that stuff out the window because it's absolute garbage. But again, he's stuck at Clemson. They got to do something, bro. They need to do something bad.
I think there's a lot of culpability when it comes to Klubnik's play, right? I think certainly, again, on this channel, it's well documented our thoughts on Clemson's offense and the disservice that they've done over the years for the quarterbacks. And we're going back as far as Watson, right? The fact that the ball was it remained outside of the numbers almost exclusively, but you made mention of it. I think you both made mention of it. He doesn't see the field well enough for me. And I'm gonna shoot him a little bell because he's a very young quarterback. This was his first year starting too, right?
Yeah.
So and you didn't have a Nuke Hopkins out there. You didn't have a Deion Kane or a Sammy Watkins. You haven't had that guy who's established himself. Mike Williams. You just haven't had that guy, right? There's talent there, and there's more talent coming in. Don't get me wrong. They got some guys now, but just in terms of an established player to kind of help carry you outside the numbers, that guy wasn't there. So I think that may have contributed to it. But Jake Brenningstool, the tight end, who I like,
Yeah, I like
he's
that.
open. He's open often,
all the time. Yes, yep.
He's
Yep.
open, and I'm gonna keep it 1,000. A lot of it was play design, bro. So it's not just poor play calling that's affecting Klubnik. Now, from a technical standpoint, from a footwork standpoint, I think those are areas that the coaches need to hone in on, right? And you can place some of that blame at the coach's feet. But in terms of understanding where to go with the football, inexperience, not seeing the field well, I think all of that is contributing. You mentioned him not climbing up in the pocket. That's generally a byproduct of being a young quarterback, thinking that you can out-athlete the next guy, that type of thing. So he has work to do, right? And then, of course, the coaching staff has things that they need to work with him on. So it's a bad combination, right? You'd rather have one or the other, and when I say the other, it's you'd rather have that he needs to figure certain things out. The coaches know what needs to happen, so we'll see if they can get things together. But speaking of Brenningstool, I was pleasant. I knew what he could do as a pass catcher. I've seen it already, right? He makes plays in the passing game. He can go above the rim, make the contested grab. He's got good straight line speed, makes plays down the seam. Certainly, I thought they did a good job of just getting him on some stack releases, getting him free and open. Makes plays after the catch, right? He can tack some yardage on after the catch as well. But I was pleasantly surprised by what he does in line. I thought he mixed it up. Like he's not a mauler per se, but he gets his arms extended. He understands angles. Like we were talking about Brian Nesbitt, right? No, Brennan Sewell's a tight end, bro. He's legitimate. He's legitimate. I'm not sure how far his star will go, but I came away pleasantly surprised by how effective he was in terms of being an inline tight end. I wasn't expecting that from him. I was expecting he's just a move tight end. He's a quality move, straight line type of guy, but no, he can actually get it done in the running game as a blocker as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I got him here as more of a pass catching tight end. But like you said, he blocks better than Nesbitt. You know, if you want to compare the ACC tight ends, I think he's a lot better blocker than Nesbitt. He'll actually give some effort in there in the run game, like you said, in line. I like his juice after the catch. Very tough after the catch. He usually breaks the first tackle, and he kind of carries guys for extra yardage as well. Very competitive tight end. I like his ability to sit down and find a hole in a defense. Like you said, the offense went through the middle of the field. And he kills zones. He sits down really well. Really good understanding. That takes a really good understanding of just the design of the defense or where the holes are on the defense. He also can get vertical and separate against linebackers. I seen him do it was like a wheel route, and he used the speed and separated. And I like his deception to get open. It's like it's designed that way, but he'll pretend to block a little bit, and then he'll get what you call it, the blue play, Drew.
It's a blue route. It's a blue route. Yep.
The Madden blue route. He does that really well. Very deceptive route runner, and he's very tough across the middle. He'll even he'll get the ball even when it's a big hit coming. So you like that grit and that physicality with Brendan Stool. And to me, he'll be a red zone contested catch guy also. He'll help in a red zone, catch the ball, and be physical across the middle. So there's a lot to like about him. Like I said, I don't know where he'll fit in these tight ends, but, I heard Nesbitt's name. He's the guy. He's the guy. He's the guy. And I came away pleasantly surprised with Brennan Stool. And to me, he's not really twitchy. He's not really that twitchy type of tight end.
Being man like that. He not separating like that. But yeah, I know exactly, because it's funny. I'm cutting you off, Headley, but I have a bullet right here that says not super twitchy.
Yeah, that's
not super twitchy, but really good straight line speed. Really good straight line speed. So if you can scheme him open to a degree, and his feel for the zones, I think he can be a player at the next level. I think he could definitely be a player at the next level for sure.
No, I agree with that.
Yeah, my first note for him is seemed to be Klubnik's guy. That's the kind of the guy that he was going to the most comfortable. And like you said earlier, Juice, in terms of these receivers, bro, they didn't help their quarterback, but this guy was helping his quarterback. Damn near caught everything that was thrown his way. Ran a ton of seam and slant routes. I call him Slant King, bro. And like you said, he ain't scared to go over the middle, bro. He's know that safety coming, that linebacker coming. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna make this catch. I'm gonna make a big time attempt to do so, even with guys breathing down his neck, and being able to make the catch, or at least making himself available to try to make the catch if it wasn't accurate, right? So, I do want to check in terms of his blocking, because that I didn't see, and I wasn't looking for him. I was just watching Klubnik, and 9 kept popping up. Like, who the fuck is 9, bro? Like, is that the tight end? Because he looked kind of big. I was like, is this it's the tight end? I said, oh, okay, all right. Well, let me throw a couple of notes in here, things that I've seen and I like about him, because he was just consistent. He was the main guy. So yeah, he's a guy that, now that you're saying, in line in terms of his ability to get the angles, because again, you don't got to be the strongest, but if you can understand the angles and kind of seal guys off and know where the play's going and do just enough, because sometimes all you need is just enough. I don't need you to send somebody to the rafters into the locker room.
Right.
If you do just enough, that's good enough. So if you understand that, and that's basically kind of all you need from your tight end, to be honest, is just enough, and then move to the next guy if you can. So if he's got that, bro, then we might be, this guy might be in a different conversation, right?
Yeah, I think he's a good inline blocker, bro. I think there's obviously room for him to improve. He's not body bagging cats. He's not pancaking guys, but technically wise, I was thoroughly impressed. I was like, okay, all right. So you understand these angles, and you're getting those levers extended, and there's good weight distribution, right? You're not too far over your toes. He's balanced for the most part. I mean, of course he slid off some blocks here and there, but it was encouraging to see, because again, a guy who's that effective in the passing game, because let's face it, more often than not, we don't see tight ends used heavily in a lot of these college offenses, right? So obviously him checking that box is great. We love to see that, right? But then on top of that, you're more than just a willing blocker, right? Yeah. There's reason to be excited about him. There really is reason to be excited about him. I forget your boy name. He was terrific in line from Clemson. Was it last year or
Davis
2 years
Allen?
ago? What was his
Davis
name?
Allen?
Davis Allen. So he's not Davis Allen, bro, in the run game. He's not Davis Allen in the run game. But you could tell, like, he takes it seriously, bro. There's pride in what he's doing. He's not just going through the motions. You know what I'm saying? And I could work with that. I could work with that, considering what he does in the passing game, for sure.
Yeah, I got one more.
Phil Maffa.
Yeah, that's who I got. Yeah,
you can't pass that dude up with the name called Phil Maffa, bro. It sounds like a guy gonna cause people problems, bro. And listed at 6'1", 230. Yeah, that man was causing problems, bro. I got here, not easy to take down. I got here also that he runs on a track, man, but he's got the ability to change direction with a jump cut, and he can do it multiple times. That's kind of how he kind of evades and avoids defenders, and to find that open space. But again, he can run through you. He can run over you. And I got here probably best in a one cut. Just put the foot in the ground, go and get up out,
and go
right,
and go
and
yep.
go.
Yep.
I saw him. An issue I had with him, there was a goal line situation where he's just kind of standing straight up. And again, there's certain things about certain positions. And the guy's a little too tall, 6'1", 230. And that's not necessarily normal for a running back, right? So, I take it with a little grain of salt in terms of his running high. But when he's going through the hole, he'll get low, But at the goal line, the short yardage situation, you got to tighten it up for me, man. You're too big to be trying to go high, man. Getting your chest on Eddie George style, bro.
What you got on Maffa, Headley?
I think I see it a little differently, Drew, because I thought short yardage and goal line, I thought that was kind of his game. I thought he's a power back. I thought he ran with physicality in short yardage. What I was pleasantly surprised with him was catching out of the backfield. He got really nice hands out of the backfield. He's not routing guys up, but you could run him in the flat, catch the football. I think he runs hard. And then you said a zone scheme. I saw a play in power scheme actually where he was very patient. He waited for the blocks, and then he exploded out of there. And the guy that came to mind when I was watching him was Aldrich Estime from Notre Dame, man. I think that they're similar type of running backs. So, with Will Shipley not there anymore, and he has the keys to the offense, it's going to be very interesting for him. I think he's going to put up some big numbers over there at Clemson, a lot of touchdowns as well. To improvement, I think he needs to improve as a pass protector. It was one play where I think it was the Florida State play when DeLoach came.
He released too soon. He released too soon.
Yeah, he released off soon. So it's being more aware as a pass protector. And he's not one of those burners at the second, third level to me, but I like him. I like his skill set. I like that he catches the ball in the backfield. And to me, he's a physical type runner. So I see a lot of Aldrich Estime in Phil Maffa.
I think my analysis of him will kind of be like between the two of you, right? So, Drew, you were talking about one cut and go. Helly, you're saying, he has the requisite patience to actually, play in a power scheme where you're pulling guards and tackles. And while I saw both of those things, I'm leaning towards get him downhill as quickly as possible. I thought Clemson ran too many plays with Phil Maffa that took too long to develop. You understand what I'm saying? It's not that he doesn't have the patience. He does have the patience. He's a patient back and he'll run behind his pads and wait for things to develop and then hit it. But I want that 230
going downhill.
Bro. I want that 230 going downhill, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's nice. It's nice that he has that ability and that he can see it and trust in what's happening in front of him before and let it develop and then go. But I want to get him to the second level as quickly as I possibly can, because as Drew mentioned, that's when you start to see, okay, he does have a little make you miss in your game. He's not a type of guy who has the ability, the quickness to get himself to the second level on his own, right? You got to block it up. Yeah. If you don't block it up, it's going to be 2 yards in a cloud of dust, right? But if you can get into the second level, you can get him into the open field. Now he can drop a shoulder into you or make a guy miss. You know what I'm saying? You can see where he's a little bit lighter in his feet in the open field. So that's kind of my thought process from that perspective. You mentioned the pass protection. Headley, I think he has the frame for it. I think he has the willingness for it. I think he's a very unselfish player, right? You see him lead blocking for Will Shipley when they do the dual back stuff. I like Phil Maffa a lot. In fact, he led Clemson in rushing this past season. You know what I'm saying? Like he was. I think Shipley got hurt. Didn't he? He missed some time, if I'm not mistaken. At any rate, Maffa led them in rushing, so I expect that to happen again. But like you mentioned, Headley, he just needs to understand. He needs to scan. Like this is your primary responsibility. You got good hands out the backfield. I know you want to go and make a play, but your primary responsibility is to protect the quarterback. You got to make sure that this young quarterback, who we're not certain is always making the right decision, is protected. You know what I'm saying? So I understand from that perspective, but I think he certainly has the ability to pass protect. And as you mentioned, doesn't have the blazing top end speed, but I wouldn't expect that from a back his size. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think it's good enough. I think it's definitely good enough. I got another guy here on the offensive side of the ball, as a matter of fact, right? And we were talking about Blake Miller. We actually spent quite a bit of time talking about Blake Miller. The left guard, Marcus Tate. He's one of the few seniors on this team, right? They generally on either side of the football, they don't have a lot of seniors. But Marcus Tate, the left guard, number 74, is a bear of a man, bro. And when you talk about phone booth, bro, that phone booth, bro, like you don't want him taking no more than 2 steps in either direction, bro. Like you don't necessarily want to see him pulling. And of course, they did this thing where they would pull him to pass protect, bro, because they're trying to give you the illusion of we're running the football. They're trying to do a heavy play action look, and they would pull him from left guard, and now he's kicking out on the right side in pass protection, which I thought it didn't fool anybody. It really didn't fool anybody. But like I said, in a phone booth, he absorbs a bull rush. Like I saw him head-to-head, Dwayne Carter, who's with the Bills now, if I'm not mistaken. And you know Dwayne Carter's a big boy. He's a power profile and just stymied, bro. Just didn't give an inch. So, and I haven't seen anybody to this point, based on, and I've watched about 3 or 4 games of his thus far. I haven't seen anybody take him for a ride, bro. Like when it comes to power, he's good. Now, of course, quickness, hand usage, different ball game. Completely different ball game. You can leave him in the dust. That being said, on the opposite end of the spectrum compared to Blake Miller with his hands are excellent. They're heavy, and when he latches, it's done. It's over, bro. It's over.
Wrap it up.
It's just that I don't know if he's gonna be able to handle a quick 3 technique. I don't know if he can handle that. If you want to try to play through his chest, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win. So he's a very interesting player. I think he's gonna be limited scheme-wise, schematically wise. He needs to be in a power scheme, and there are only a handful of teams that are really employing power. So that may depress his value. But I thought he was very steady, very, 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 very steady. Some might have mentioned, I forget his name, but the center, some thought was the best offensive lineman on this team. I think from a talent perspective, Blake Miller is the guy, but just in terms of consistency, snap in, snap out, I thought Marcus Tate is a pretty interesting player. Again, I think his movement skills are going to limit him schematically, which is going to depress his draft stock. But if you put him in a power scheme and he is a guard, bro, like, and he might just be a left guard. He might not be one of those guys who could play right guard and left guard. He might just be a left guard, bro. So, that may come into the calculus as well. Do you want a guy who's a little bit more flexible? But I thought he did a really good job, especially dealing with power up front. All right. That covers the offense. And, I mentioned Antonio Williams. I think I did. He's probably their best returning receiver. I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get my. I'll be right back. Let me get my camera.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's going to another receiver out there. I saw Adam Randall. He kind of flashed for me a little bit at the wide receiver position when Antonio Williams was hurt. But like Drew said earlier, there's no DeAndre Hopkins. There's no guy like that. Sammy Watkins. Clemson's been. They were kind of like a wide receiver youth for a couple of years, man. Mike Williams. It was just a lot of good Martavius Bryant, a lot of good receivers coming out of there, and they kind of lost that these last couple of seasons. There you go, Juice.
Yeah, they did, and I thought one of their more experienced and dependable receivers, Collins, he transfers to Notre Dame. We talked about him a couple of weeks ago. He's no longer there. They have some really good talent coming in. They actually have some good talent already, including Antonio Williams. I think they have Tyler Brown, who's a true freshman. He looks like a dynamo in the slot. I think we're going to start to hear his name quite a bit as well. But Antonio Williams, he dealt with some injuries. There's some inconsistency with his hands, but he has some talent as well. Redshirt sophomore, so he's eligible, but he's got to put it all together. Again, a lot of talent on his team. It's just very young talent. It's unproven at this point. They got some big-time recruits. As we mentioned, this team has always cranked out these receivers. I think they got some in the wings coming. I do think they have some on the way. It's just that we haven't seen them just yet. Speaking of young talent on the defensive side of the ball, you got TJ Parker, you got Peter Woods, you got Avion Terrell, the younger brother of AJ Terrell, all very talented. All were true freshmen and played a lot of snaps last year. So, again, a very, very young team. And they're gonna play. That's the thing, because like I said, Dabo's not in the portal. Dabo's like, I ain't with it. I'm not doing it. And on the one hand, I respect it because, you know, the young guys get an opportunity to play. You recruit these guys. You tell them, hey, listen, you're going to get an opportunity to compete, whatever the case may be. On the other hand, it's going to make it very difficult.
And
you got to develop them. Yeah. You got on the defensive side, I think they do okay. I think they do okay on the defensive side. But you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You have to develop them. You absolutely have to develop them. That being said, there are a couple of upperclassmen to discuss here. Not a lot, but a couple that I wanted to discuss. And the first guy is actually up front. He's up front, and he's a little known name. You know, I wonder if you guys are familiar with DeMonte Capehart. Are you familiar with DeMonte Capehart, number 19?
His name popped up for me, but I didn't scout him though. But his name didn't pop up when I was doing my research.
So obviously you guys know Rook Ahoro, Tyler Davis. You know, I mentioned Woods. I mean, they got some guys who obviously are like the headliners, but Capehart, bro. When you talk about just pure power and physicality, to me, he was the best among all of them. Not the most talented, but just in terms of beating up centers. I mean, folding guys up. Whether it was the UNC center, he got folded up. The Notre Dame center got folded up. I mean, you know that, you remember that rep from Tavondre Sweat against Bo Limmer?
Yeah,
like that, bro. Yeah. Like that, bro. Like that, bro. Like absolutely, bro. Absolutely. But here's the thing: in 34 career games, he's averaging less than 10 snaps a game, bro.
Okay. So he's gonna play a lot of snaps this year.
So I expect him to play a lot of snaps this year, which should help bolster his stock. Now the question becomes, you know, does he have the requisite conditioning? Because again, we could argue there were a lot of more talented players in front of him, right? And he didn't necessarily get a lot of run, although I think towards the end of the season he became one of their more consistent players. I think in terms of just one-on-one situations in the run game, especially when he's lined up against the center, he's winning. He's winning, bro. He's making plays in the backfield. He's disrupting. The pass rush, not really there. Don't really have the moves, whatever the case may be. But just in terms of a pure power profile, holding up in terms of one gap, he's impressive from that perspective. He really is. That being said, it's a limited skill set. So we're talking 2-down player. You know, we're talking, you know, later draft pick, undrafted type of guy. But I think Capehart with a quality season could force his way into a defensive line rotation as a rotational guy, you know what I'm saying, up front. So I'm gonna keep an eye on him. I
got a question before you go ahead, bro, because you put me on two guys right there: Marcus Tate, DeMonte Capehart. One-on-one, who winning? Those two guys, because they're very similar.
Bruh, I don't know. because I think Tate gotta win, bro. Because that's what Tate. Because I think that's Tate's game.
That's
bro.
Tate's, yeah.
I think that's Tate's wheelhouse, bro. But man, listen, if you don't eat your Wheaties, bro, if you're not getting enough protein, bro, Capehart will take you for a ride, bro. And like I said, and he's had like he's had like 306 snaps in 34 games, bro. Like he don't play, bro. When I did the math, bro, that's like less than 9 snaps a game. Like he just hasn't played very much. But I think, like I said, towards the end of last year, the second half of last season is when he really got into the rotation and started playing more consistently. And even with the likes of Rook and Tyler Davis along the defensive line, I thought just in terms of just raw power and ability to disrupt, I thought he did so when he got his limited opportunities. I thought he did so on a more consistent basis. So again, I want to see the lungs, bro. I want to see the conditioning. I want to see if he can manage to stay on the field because he's played so sparingly throughout his career here at Clemson. All right. And the last guy I wanted to talk about was I think the guy that we've been talking about for a while now here, Barrett Carter, linebacker from Clemson, and he's the guy. So a couple seasons ago, Trent Simpson was clearly the man. And then, of course, Barrett Carter was looked at as the next guy up, but it was really Jeremiah Trotter that stole the show. And I think we've talked about this previously. If I could take Jeremiah Trotter's football IQ and instincts and put it in Barrett Carter's body, You might be talking about the first linebacker off the board, bro. You're probably talking about the first linebacker off the board because that to me is what I think NFL teams covet, right? He's a modern linebacker, weak side linebacker who can play in space. You've seen him cover the nickel, although I don't necessarily want him matched up with receivers. I think when you decide to flex your tight end out, I think he does a good job of handling that, right? So he can play in space, play in zone. Certainly has the requisite athleticism, but the eye discipline is problematic. He takes the cheese often. I think you would expect him to be a better green dog blitzer type, but his timing isn't great. He doesn't necessarily give himself an opportunity to make plays because his timing isn't always where it needs to be. So you can see the makings. It's kind of like Blake Miller. You can see the makings of a really talented football player, but it's just raw, And I thought he made a good decision going back to school. I thought he made a good decision going back to school. Now I do expect him to continue to be the weak side linebacker and not necessarily be the Mike, i.e. Trenton Simpson and Trotter, even though those guys were a bit undersized. But I think in the right scheme, and with quality coaching, you might be able to get that Dre Greenlaw type of player. You know what I'm saying? That guy who can really chase things down, be really effective on all three downs. It's just I don't know what to do with these instincts, bro. I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah, we spoke about that when we talked about it in the summer scouting between Trotter Jr. and Barrett Carter, where they had the instincts for Barrett Carter. It doesn't show up. It doesn't show up. You got all the speed, all the athleticism. You have that versatility that NFL teams are going to covet, because they play him outside of the box and they make him cover guys in the pass game as well. And teams love that. But can you play linebacker in that box and decipher through the trash, stack and shed, get to the ball carrier, and just beat guys because of your instincts? And we just didn't see that on the football field. And after Trenton Simpson left, we thought, okay, Barrett Carter is now the guy. And he really didn't have that season. I thought he had a better 20.
He did. We lost your audio there. We lost your audio, Headley. No, to Headley's point, I agree with him. I thought his 2022 film was better than the 2023 film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were expecting him to take a leap now that Trenton Simpson had moved on and he was going to get more consistent time in the box, and it just didn't happen. And like I said, I thought he made the right decision going back to school to see if he could help bolster his draft stock, because I think in the early prognostications, he was considered the top linebacker in the class for 2024. And he wasn't the best linebacker on his own team. You understand what I'm saying? So I think certainly he has an opportunity to improve his draft stock here. And Headley mentioned, he mentioned stacking and shedding. And I got a note here, interestingly enough, because that is a bit of a lost art. And I think Headley mentioned that earlier. Power Echols, we were discussing him. Barrett Carter actually has the stack part, bro. He's physical, bro. He got the stack part, bro. He just don't know how to shed. He don't have to shed.
Bro. I'm watching him, bro, and they're running to the left or right. Pick a side, don't matter. Mm-hmm. And he's there and he fills. But and I'm watching where everybody's hole is supposed to be, and his shed is on the wrong side, bro. And I'm like, how are you doing this? If he would just shed to the right side, there's nowhere for the running back to go. And I see the safety have to come up and fill where he was supposed to be because he's getting manhandled. And I'm like, you're like this. You're almost there, bro.
He's right there on the cusp. He's right there on the cusp, bro. But I don't know if he's gonna get there.
Yeah, something missing.
I don't know. Something's missing, bro.
I don't know if he's gonna get there either, bro. And somebody's gonna take a shot at him, and they're gonna put him out there, and they're gonna think he can. And it's never. Let me not say never, but it's maddening to watch him because you're like, and I know they go into the film room, and the coach is like, bro, like,
Mr. C. So again, if I could take Jeremiah Trotter's football mind and eyes and put them in Barrett Carter's body, you would have a serious player, bro, because Trotter didn't have that issue. He didn't have the first step explosiveness of a Barrett Carter, right? He's not as athletic as Barrett Carter, but he seemingly got to where he needed to be more often than not because his eyes were in the right place. He understood which shoulder he should be attacking when he's filling the B gap or the C gap or what have you. You understand what I'm saying? It's football IQ, bro. And the thing about it is that I don't think Barrett Carter is one of those players who just doesn't understand what he's doing. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go that far. It's just putting it together and executing consistently is where he's having his struggles. So, I certainly room for Clemson's coaching staff to improve. There's no question about that on either side of the ball. But it's frustrating for a guy who can be mugged up in the A gap and then get back into the, what I'm saying, to the middle of the field in the cover 2 as well as he can. Man, if you could just figure out
bro, I watched
how to shed. If you could just figure out how to shed, bro, you might be the first one linebacker off the board. You might be the first one off the board, bro.
I watched him. I want to say it was a C gap. I got to find the play. He's responsible for the C gap, and I saw, and it was going towards the right hand side of the screen. He's responsible for the C gap. What's the linebacker for last year? I'm drawing a blank. Trotter comes through the A gap, and if Trotter had Carter speed, he makes the play, and he beats Carter, and that's Carter's play to make. And damn it, I said, okay, well, Carter should make this play, and nope, shoulder's on the wrong side, or he chose the wrong shoulder. And now the safety
was
in the
game
corner has
Duke?
to clean it up.
Was that Duke game? You talking about that Duke game with Riley Leonard?
No, I don't think it was Duke.
Okay.
No, I don't think it was Duke.
He had some missteps in that game too.
But it's just,
and I was just about to say that same word you just used, Headley. Missteps. Yeah. It's missteps, bro. It's wasted movement. Life is about movements. It's wasted movement and missteps. And now you're out leveraged. Despite all that athleticism, despite all of that ability, now you're out of position. So okay, all right. You haven't quite figured out the shed part. Fine. All right. I can work with the fact that you're willing to stack, put your nose in there, get physical. All right. We'll figure out the shed part. But when you're diagnosing and you're assessing what's happening, you can't afford to have missteps, bro.
Yeah.
Right. There's the ball's gonna go right by your ear hole because of that misstep. You know what I'm saying? Or you're gonna get washed out of the play, and where you're supposed to be filling that one gap, it's now a highway because you took a misstep. So yeah, he's got to clean that up. He definitely has to clean that up because he's talented. He's gifted. He's a gifted athlete. You know what I'm saying? And again, a weak side linebacker. Think about it. A weak side linebacker that is often moonlighting as the nickel. That allows you to stay in a base.
Yep.
Right? It makes you that much more effective against the run, assuming you're where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the flexibility that he can potentially offer a defense is significant. Like you can't understate that, but it's all for naught if you're not where you're supposed to be. Good stuff, fellas.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but yeah, as I mentioned before, Clemson, it's a young football team, bro. They got a lot of youngsters. There's gonna be a lot of true freshmen getting run, especially with the exodus of NFL players and a lot of guys in the transfer portal. Yeah, quite a few Clemson players in the transfer portal and no transfers coming in. So definitely going to see a lot of young talent here in Clemson over the next several seasons. So we'll see how it all plays out. All right. That's going to do it for this edition of the Second Half Draft Show. Excellent show, gentlemen. Again, I want to encourage everyone to check out our Patreon as well as our mock draft simulator. Go to couchpotatogm.com in order to do so. We're back. We're back next week, Friday. I'm gonna tease with the college football coming out. I got it downloaded. We're probably gonna start dabbling in some content with the college football game. So be on the lookout for that. All right. For Headley, Drew, this is Juice. We will see you next week.